Aleichem, my dear brothers and sisters. The question is, should women and girls go outside their house or their homes? And I hope I'm going to answer your question with actually an interesting fact that we've just been through Hanukkah, the holiday of Hanukkah, where we light the candles for 8 days. And according to the law, only the men have to light the candles. And not only that, if women do light, they should not say a bracha. At least according to some scholars. I'm not sure if all agree, but according to some, at least that. Now the question is, why not? Why shouldn't women light the Hanukkah candles? And what many of you probably have not heard is that back in the days, in the times of the Talmud, when lighting Hanukkah candles, people lit it outside their house. Jews lived outside this. Jews lived inside their own little cities, and people used to light the Hanukkah candles outside the doors, not like in the windows like we do nowadays, but they used to light it outside the doorways. And for a woman to walk outside the doorway to light the Hanukkah candle was considered immodest. And that's why the rabbis never instituted for a woman to light the Hanukkah candles outside the doorways, because she would have to go outside the doorways, basically, to light them. And I hope this answers the question that back in the days of the Talmud, even just walking outside the doorways, we're not talking about walking outside your yard, walking out, on the street. We're not even talking about just walking outside the doorway of your house was considered to be an improper action for a woman or for a girl. And now I know that in modern days this sounds crazy and it sounds impossible, but in reality, I believe that the Torah that Hashem gave us applies to all generations. And we should adapt the modern world to the Torah and not try to adapt the Torah to the modern world. And even if, even though sometimes it's maybe impossible in modern world for a woman to completely stay in house, you gotta pick up the kids, if sometimes the husbands work the whole day, and you gotta go to the store, pick up the kids, and but I think it's still proper for a woman to at least keep in the back of her mind that the proper path is for her to stay at home, for woman and for girl, and so that, and the reason for that, so that the wrong doesn't become the right. Because when people do something wrong constantly on and on and on, eventually the problem is it becomes like it's right, like it's a correct thing to do. And when that happens, what happens is the Torah changes, basically. The outlook on life changes, and the people begin to ignore the laws of the Torah. But when Hashem gave us the laws, He obviously knew ahead of time for all generations, and He made the laws that are applicable to all generations until Mashiach comes. And therefore, in fact, it says that the praise of a princess is inside the house. When the angels came to Abraham, when they asked Abraham, "Where is Sarah, your wife?" they said this as a praise to Sarah, meaning, and Abraham answered them, "She's inside the tent." This was a praise to Sarah, that she was staying inside the tent. The most praiseworthy woman and the girl is when she's modest, when she doesn't like to be seen outside in the street. And so I hope this is encouraging to our sisters. And please be precious. Like a diamond. People have diamond. Where do the people keep their diamonds? Inside the safe. You don't go around throwing the diamonds around or keep it on your porch outside, right? Because it's precious. And so our sisters are very precious. And just because, don't think that modesty means that this is something degrading. Modesty is something that's because you're precious. That's why modesty applies to our sisters. And so, please, sometimes I know it's hard. You look in Facebook and you look in TV and you see a completely different world, the total opposite of what the Torah teaches us. But you gotta be steadfast, and you gotta be bold and stubborn in your belief, and what is right. You have to keep it, and you have to influence others and not get influenced by others. This is what light unto the nations mean. You influence the outside world, but you don't get influenced by the world. And by adopting the proper path, maybe other girls, other women will learn from you, and they also are gonna, do the same thing. Thank you for watching.